It is the 12th week of doing this, and in 7 or 8 days, it is the 3-month anniversary. I guess technically it's not an anniversary because that entails it being a year, but month anniversary of doing this. It's like I have 7 weeks remaining, which is an estimate, of course. I don't really know how the future is gonna look, but right around that time, I should be getting the box truck. Got my mail. Looks like I need to renew my vehicle registration. But before I do that, I have to get my emissions test, which I didn't do. Louisville always wants money from me for driving over their bridge. Insurance, 401k, and the piece de resistance. It's official. I was wondering when these are gonna come out. All right, I need an RSVP for this wedding. It's the wedding I'll be in town for first week of September. To my Lexington friends. I'll stick this up here with all of my other stuff that Zach and Carolyn have sent me. Beautiful. I need to invest in a shredder. So I ended up having to pull overtime on Friday, so it cut my weekend pretty short. For that reason, I did not go to the gym. I'll be starting my kettlebell exercises this week, tomorrow night, not tonight, because I realized I was gonna work out 7 days a week, but from what I've read, it's advisable not to do that, for the simple reason that if you don't give your muscles enough time to rest, it actually stagnates muscle growth, which is the whole point. So I need 2 days off, and I've decided I want those to be Sunday nights, which is tonight, and then Monday nights, because Mondays are really, really busy at both of my jobs because the orders pile in over the weekend. So I'll take those 2 days off, which means I need to reconfigure my workout schedule that I had already planned for my kettlebells. I had it separated by muscle groups, but now I'm gonna have to do a mixture on the 3 days that I'm doing that. And then Friday and Saturday night, that's when I'll hit the gym, where I'll do all of my strength training for my shoulders, biceps, chest, abdominals, legs, back, you know, everything basically. Then I also got this, which I've been waiting on for like a month. So, and what I'm pretty sure this is gonna be is it's just some high visibility vests for, yeah, that's what it is. It's funny, at both of my jobs, they started requiring us wear these in the same week, coincidentally. So since work required that we wear these, they did provide some, but it seems like in order to save money, they ended up ordering just the largest size, which is an XL, or I guess like the largest size that they estimated would fit everybody. And I don't like wearing super baggy shit because it snags on stuff and it just looks bad and it's annoying. So I ordered some that are my size, and to make sure nobody stole them, mine are purple and orange instead of just orange. And I got them with my name on them. So that's super fun. Finally got those in. So yeah, worked Friday night, went straight to bed, got up, tried to do as much stuff as I could on Saturday, trying to settle into a routine where I keep saying this, I know, it sounds like a broken record, but these videos are probably gonna get really boring because my weekends are about to get more repetitive, and here's why. So Friday, I ended up messaging a couple people on Facebook Marketplace because a couple years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, I ended up buying this super nice, expensive camera. which when I bought it was like $2,000, which I put on credit, of course, and I'm almost done paying it off. But I've never used it because it didn't come with any lenses or any way to charge the batteries. So it's just been sitting in storage. But I finally decided that I wanted to get into photography, and I needed something to do when I'm going out fishing and stuff that isn't fishing and cooking. And I need another way to make these videos more entertaining. Not that I have to do that and that's my penultimate goal, but I don't know, it's just nice being an entertainer to an extent. So I ended up getting a lens, which is it's a Sigma 19mm, which is a wide angle lens. And Sigma's pretty much the gold standard of lenses. But I got this for a stupid deal. So now I can finally start to shoot. I also messaged somebody about getting a battery charger, but they ended up never messaging me back the day that I was supposed to pick it up. So I decided to just go to Best Buy and see what they had. And they had one for half the price I was going to spend. And with all that extra money that I saved, I ended up getting this bag and a SD card, which I also needed for the camera in order to save the photos that I'm shooting. So I took a couple test shots with it. I'm still pretty unfamiliar with all of the options and all the terminology, like focal lengths, aperture, ISOs, shutter speeds. But I did message a couple people when I'm in town in Lexington. Rob Raymond is going to be taking me around and teaching me a bunch, because that's what he does for his job. He usually shoots MMA fights. So he's going to be instructing me. And then just to make sure that I don't fall into like one way of doing things or like a dogmatic view of how photography is supposed to be done, I also messaged Desiree, and we're going to be doing a hike, and she's going to be showing me the way that she shoots photography, which will be probably a little less technical and a little more artistic. So I get like the best of both worlds, essentially. So I got that. I might start keeping that in storage just so nobody steals it. And then after that, I ended up going back to the Theosophical Society. I am officially a member now. So I checked out Crisis of the Modern World by Rene Guénon. And this is him. I've decided I'm going to start printing out photos of the authors I'm reading and using them as bookmarks, so I don't have to keep reusing bookmarks. I don't have any. And then I got one of Julius Evola too, that I'll show you. The man. They're open from 1 to 5 to visitors, so I just sat in the library the whole time and I began reading, not Ride the Tiger, but I'm rereading Revolt Against the Modern World, which is kind of a follow-up and was heavily inspired by this book, which is why I'm reading this as well, side by side. And I'm starting to take notes and develop a rough draft of a script, because I'm going to start teaching an overview of the book, essentially, because he's one of the authors that everyone tells you that you're not supposed to read because he's very anti-liberal, anti-democratic, Western tradition, that people consider him to be dangerous or like far right or fascist adjacent, which is all just like a boogeyman way of saying that, like, we disagree with him, so don't read him so that you parrot our values. But if you want like a cohesive understanding of like ideas and how they transpose onto the way that societies are organized and how high culture is experienced, you have to, you can't be too narrow-minded. You have to branch out and absorb a lot of different ideas, because if you don't have anything from which to contrast your set of values, your set of values actually don't have identity unless they're contextualized by something else, if that makes any sense. But most of the material that you come across on the internet about Julius Evola is either people that just fanboy him super hard to the extent to where they don't really rigorously discuss his ideas and where they come from and how they transpose onto society at large. And then the other side of the coin is people telling you that you just don't need to read him and it's a waste of time, but they never actually have read it either. So I wanted to make a resource for people first getting introduced into this material to kind of hold their hand through their first experience, because it is very daunting trying to read it. I've read the book like 3 or 4 times now, and every time I read it, I rediscover something that I missed the first few times that I've read it. But yeah, no real resources exist to help contextualize these ideas to people. So I wanted to take it upon myself to nerd out about it and teach this to people. So I'm super excited for that. I've started developing my lesson plan for the first episode. It's going to be 1 episode per chapter. There's 37 chapters. And I'm planning on having all of the material written for the entire book, so that by the time I get into my box truck and I have the resources available to record it and to edit the videos a little more, and animate some infographics and some diagrams to help people understand the ideas. And then I'll knock all of those out at once and then just put them on a timer to where they will release on a weekly basis or maybe even a monthly basis, so that I have a large window of time to start studying for the next thing that I want to teach, which is probably going to move from right-wing ideology into left-wing ideology, probably something in the neighborhood of postmodernism or neo-Marxist or cultural Marxist critical theory. Because like I said, you have to engage with both of these things in order to understand, I feel like, society the way that it is. Just being overtly dogmatic about the things you believe in is just narrow-minded, and I don't know, it's just unappealing to me. So yeah, but that'll probably take place on a separate YouTube channel. This will be primarily like a vlog or whatever you want to call these, which I'll do as long as I can. I don't know. I don't really have a set schedule on when these videos are going to end or if they're going to, but it is going to be very challenging trying to juggle both of these things at once. But I'll give you as many updates as I can. So stay tuned for that if like continental philosophy interests you. Other than that, when I'm in the box truck, I'm also probably going to be using that camera to shoot my videos so that they're a little more high quality when I have the time and resource to sit down and actually edit them. And then after the Theosophical Society closed, I went and had dinner at Manhattan's, which was really good. I got an appetizer, which was, I forget the specific name of the cheese. It says it's an American restaurant, but I'm pretty sure this is a Greek tradition. But it's like Sazanaki cheese. It's like just a slab of cheese that they put in a broiler until the top is blistered. And then they use brandy to light it on fire when they bring it to the table, which is mostly just a gimmick. Doesn't really add much flavor. And then they put the fire out with lemon juice. But it's really good. For dinner, I had a prime rib sandwich, which was amazing, with a baked potato. And then that night I got online and played some Azanzo, which is a World War I game, with my buddy Derek. And we usually discuss these ideas and philosophy and religion. And then this morning I woke up and I had breakfast at Lucia Rosa, which was great. I had short rib hash, which was amazing. And then I finished it with a cappuccino, because I feel like going to a Greek or an Italian restaurant and not finishing your meal with a cappuccino is almost a heresy. And also, it was my first time having coffee since I started doing this, because about 2 or 3 weeks before I moved into the car, I decided I was going to stop drinking caffeine so that when I started my heavy workload, I could add caffeine back in at slow amounts to help keep me stimulated throughout the day to make it easier. But then I just never went back to drinking caffeine. So yeah, I guess that's something I also neglected to say this whole time, is I have not been drinking caffeine this whole time that I've been working 80-hour weeks minimum. I love coffee. I love the taste of it. I don't put sugar or anything in it. Well, cappuccinos have milk in them just by default. But it was super enjoyable. It didn't make me super antsy or anything. So yeah, whenever I go to an Italian place, I'll probably end up getting a cappuccino just to finish. I have not gotten around to installing the inverter or routing the underseat AC to the trunk. It's really hard to find time to do shit like that now that I'm settling into a routine, especially when I work on Friday, when I pull that overtime. But I'll be moving to first shift very soon at one of my jobs. So on Friday, I should be getting off at 2:30, and I'll have a longer weekend to do more shit. So when that happens, that's probably when I'll have the time to do that shit. For now, it's just studying, going to restaurants, and then fishing when I can. I've also finally broken my stagnation on my weight loss, and I'm past into the 170s now. Last time I weighed myself, I was 177, but that was with boots on and some other shit on. So I'm probably at 175. And I think that's directly attributed to the fact that I don't drink on the weekends anymore, where I was clearing probably about the amount of a fifth and maybe 4 large beers every weekend, which is an insane amount of calories if you think about it. But now that I've stopped doing that for 3 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, I've finally broken past that precipice of 180 that I was unable to move past. And then other than that, I just spent the day doing all of my normal Sunday shit, like getting the mail, doing my grocery shopping, going and taking my shower at the gym. My membership at Planet Fitness ends August 16th. I can use the gym till then, but I need to figure out how to reconfigure my schedule to where I can go to my other gym on the weekends, because Sundays are so jam-packed with all of the stuff that I have to do. And that gym is actually in Lombard, which is a town over. It's only a 20-25 minute drive, which isn't super bad, but the way things are now in Addison, everything is localized, like literally right in the same area. Like where Planet Fitness is from the laundromat that I'm at right now is literally right there across the street. My replenishments are up the street around the corner, and then my work is right around the corner from that. So I'm either probably gonna have to just wake up first thing in the morning and take my shower then, which is probably what I'll end up doing, or I'll have to finish my day with the shower, which doesn't really make any sense because if I do that, then I'm gonna have damp clothes sitting in my dirty clothes area the entire week until I wash them the following week. So that's probably not ideal. Oh yeah, I also ended up getting a bin for down here where I keep my exercise stuff, like my kettlebell, my push-up bars, and the bag that has my headgear for my neck exercises in it. Because the entire week that I was driving around, the kettlebell was just rolling around, and I was afraid it was going to start breaking all of the other stuff that I keep down here, because it's just 35 pounds of cast iron, basically, or steel. So I got a bin to keep all of that stuff. And then, other than that, I'm pretty sure that covers all my bases. So this is probably gonna be my shortest video in a while, which I bet some of you all will appreciate, considering the last couple have been like longer than 30-40 minutes long. One more thing, I got a message from my uncle, Eric Claus, who lives in Germany, and he basically told me that I need to come visit him as soon as possible. And I took that offer. I meant to go in 2019, But right when I got my passport and everything, and I was getting ready to go, right before I bought my tickets, literally, that's when COVID hit. And then they shut down flights, and then they had all of the vaccine mandates in order for you to be able to fly. Not me, brother. Now that I have a surplus of income and I've minimized my expenses significantly, I can put money back, and I'm planning to go visit in spring, and I'm probably going to be taking Jack Raymond and Mason with me. So that'll be fun. Little boys trip to Germany. Probably gonna hop around, see some historical sites. I really want to go to Nuremberg and Messkirch, Germany is where the grave of Martin Heidegger is, which I really want to see. He's one of my favorite philosophers. And then right outside of where Messkirch is, over the border into Switzerland, is where Nietzsche used to vacation up in the mountains and used to walk around, and where he developed most of his ideas after he left teaching at the University of Basel. So I'd really like to see that too. And then other than, you know, nerding out about history and philosophy, we're going to be probably going to Hamburg, where the music scene is really prominent. Like go to a couple raves or whatever. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm gonna start putting money back for that. Maybe I'll take a train out to Eastern Europe, you know, a couple days, just because if I'm compressing everything into the span of a week, it's already going to be difficult to explore Germany to an extent. So I'm gonna have to find some sort of balance. But I would really like to see Eastern Europe. Of course, I could do this at other times, but Eastern Europe always has this tendency to heat up, especially right now with like the Russo-Ukrainian war. And then Serbia's been heating up again over in the Balkans, which is where I want to go. So you never know how long those opportunities are going to be open. And I also have a buddy who lives out in Hungary, Jackson, that I've been telling him ever since 2019 that I'm going to come out and visit him ever since he moved. So I'm really looking forward to that. But maybe I won't be able to fit all of that into this one trip. Maybe we should just stick to Germany. It'll be my first time out of the country, which is going to be fun, obviously. But, right. Other than that, now I believe I've touched all bases. And, stay tuned for next week's episode. Hopefully it'll be a little more entertaining. It's probably just going to end up being me talking about a little bit of what I'm working on philosophically, or showcasing the restaurants that I'm going to, or the fishing spots that I'm going to. I still need to bring out my cooking stuff and cook fish on the spot. I'm going to make fish tacos. Probably try to do that next week if the weather permits. It's a little stormy this week. And then while I'm there fishing, I'll take some photos with my camera, start to experiment out a little, and then I'll probably start a new Instagram account just to showcase those photos, or I might just post them on my current one because I don't really make posts anyway, and it could use a little more content. But yeah, stay tuned for the next update. Thanks, guys.